The global COVID-19 pandemic has been ongoing since March of 2020. Businesses, stores, and even schools were put on a temporary lockdown for almost 6 to 10 months following. Caretakers and most importantly, essential workers were at risk with every move they would take. With proper preventative measures, including social distancing, wearing masks, and limiting customers' touch surfaces, most farmers markets were allowed to stay open. Wild August Farmers Market was one of the farmers markets that were able to keep their doors open starting Mother's Day weekend 2020. While all vendors were given the opportunity to come back and sell, owner of Wild August Farmers Market and some restaurants, Jennifer Wilson, mentions that many vendors didn't attend for their safety and family member safety.
We had a couple of vendors that have spouses that have compromised health. One has a son that's got some serious health concerns. And so a lot of them just didn't come for a long, long time. And that was fine.
Although many vendors weren't attending the market, she mentions that her flower business that is alongside the farmers market was actually doing very well in a poor income time. Many businesses in the world were not doing very well during the global shutdown at the time, but Miss Wilson was able to adapt to the changes due to the pandemic.
The flower sales took off. I was shocked. But we almost made up for all of what we had lost. I think in hindsight now, so many people were home and wanted their homes to be beautiful, and people started paying attention to their immediate environments. And so we had lots of requests for the market bunches that we usually sell at the farmers market. People would call us on a Tuesday and say, "Can I come get some of those?" So we started doing porch pickups where we would make our bouquets all week long and put them out front, and people would just stop by. I mean, it was contactless. They would stop by and pick up a bouquet and leave the money on the porch in the wagon. And then we did this really fun thing right around the beginning. I want to say it was right around March, April. We did takeout flowers because that was when curbside people were really being encouraged to pick up meals curbside at restaurants. So we started making bouquets in Chinese food takeout boxes. That was really fun. So yeah, I mean, we certainly had to be creative, but we were okay. I mean, it was tough, but we're still here. So.
But her flower business is not the only business that has been growing since the pandemic. Cookies for College, a vendor and a longtime friend of Miss Wilson, has been changing her business ways since the beginning.
She came to me not last summer, but the summer before, I guess summer of 2019. And she said, "I'm getting ready to go off to college. I would like to try to sell some cookies to offset my tuition costs. Can I come to the market?" And I said, "Sure, that's a great idea. We'd love to have you." And I knew her well enough to know she's really responsible. She's got a strong work ethic. I knew she was serious about it, and I knew she was really committed to doing a good job. And so she started coming, and I actually messaged her the other day and said, "Who would have ever thought that it would lead her, but to where she is?" I feel like I get to be, sort of part of the journey because she's one of our vendors, but she came and she set up her little table, and she had a couple of varieties of cookies, and she did well. And she started, after maybe 3 or 4 markets, people were coming specifically for her. And people were calling and asking, "How can I get in touch with her? I would like to order, I want to pre-order a dozen chocolate chip cookies, or, I'd like to know if she can make cookies for an event that we have coming up," or whatever, which is funny because that's exactly how it ended up where we are with the flowers. I was selling bouquets out of our rose nursery inventory. And it just went in a completely different direction. People started calling and saying, "Can you do this for events? And can you make one for my girlfriend?" And so I had this real appreciation for what was happening.
Sure enough, she didn't let the pandemic get her down, and she took that opportunity to expand her social media. Madeline Hill, Cookies for College owner, mentions a bit about her business changing when she came back to selling.
So a lot of people have gone online, or they're making like deliveries. Like I would literally just be like, "All right, I'm coming, like leave the check under your mat, and then I'll put the cookies there, ring the doorbell, and leave." So there's no contact, no payment switching hands. It was just all like contact free. And then they felt safe and I felt safe.
One of the things she mentions she had been missing when doing her curbside pickups is getting to know the new people.
So you're able to form those relationships with people, and it's not just like you're making a sale. And like people ask me like, hey, how are your classes going? Or I'll be like, oh, hey, where are your kids this week? Like, how are they doing? How's school going? Or I have a lot of teachers who come as well and support me, and just like listening to like how hard COVID's been on them and just on their kids. And they're like, man, we just can't wait to get back in the classroom. So the farmers market adds a whole, I think, your business, because you're able to make those face-to-face customer relationships with your customers, and it becomes more like, oh, I just sold a cookie. It's like, oh, I made a new friend.
With her future fast approaching and this next year being her senior year, Miss Hill mentioned some of her future goals with her business.
So I was actually going to transition my name to the cookie jar, which is kind of why, like, if you see my logo, it's a cookie jar and it says the cookie jar, and it's kind of like the slogan or the saying is cookies for college. So I actually kind of need to switch that because I figured out a way to keep it going once I graduate. So what I want to do is there's two different ways. So I either want to employ college students to work for me, and then like a portion of their salary goes straight towards their tuition, and then they can apply for an annual scholarship through my business. Or I want to do scholarships just period through my business, and do give back to my school, Laterno, and do like an annual $1,000 and $5,000 scholarship that kids can apply for. And who knows, if I get bigger, maybe I can give more. But I want that to kind of be the mission behind my business, is once I'm done with my school, giving back to other college students, because we all know it's expensive. So it's pretty bad, but yeah.
Although Cookies for College is coming to an end in 2023, Madeline Hill wants to remind her customers that this is not the end of her career, and she is working on big things for her customers.